Hello, my beautiful ignited souls. I am Crimey Queen, and guess what? I am ready to dig in deep once more. Are you ready to dig in deep once more? Of course, we are ready to dig in deep once more, and we are digging into numerology, scriptural references, and of course, of the state of our economy and everything that's happening around us. But why? Because we want to live the best version of who we truly are. So let's go and let's have this delicious spiritual meal. Okay. Oh, a big shout to Tom. You know who you are. Very inspiring. Okay, thank you. Now, this is really Mother Eve, a depiction of Mother Eve. And I just love Mother Eve has decided to really show herself. But we are breaking down the template for that which we are meant to be, do, or have to exercise, the reflect the highest version of who we truly are. Now, this rests upon the Bible, the 14 gods of Genesis, chapter 1 and 2. Now, it just reminds me, I did something and 2. Why 2? Oh, this is really delicious. I do these and I just do them intuitively, and I now will actually call on Mother Eve to, reflect what she really wants us to know through this presentation. So something came up with number 2, and knowing that the gods came, it's 2 sets of gods, meaning 9 gods in Genesis of chapter 1 and 5 gods in Genesis of chapter 2. I'm not going to go through this lot again because that's why I'm doing them in stages, but I'll quickly call them out. They're the blessed God, the brave God, the set God, the soul God, the set God, the move God, the made God, the created God, the caused God, the called God, the divided God, the ended God, the planted God, the formed God. Wow. Okay, I did it. So these are the gods of formation and so on and so on. Okay, so basically it's like we encompass all of these gods. They play out it within us. And if you ever wondered why you have this chatter going in your mind, I would say that the gods are very responsible for the chatter in our minds. But what is important is that we learn to work with the gods. They are chattering, yes. But back to the template on number 2, this is so delicious right now because it's just like finding a bit of the puzzle. So I did a presentation on black and white, and of course Sophia seemed to be coming and being presenting herself as well, like the flip side of the said god, Mother Eve. And so there's the fork now because we are digging deep, and we see that these are the letters that doing this template, I was not permitted to move, if you like, or shift them. And so we have W, which is representing the 2 sets of goals, like 2 sevens will had come together. So a 7 is like this. We could say a 7 is like this. And then you have another 7 like this. This becomes an M, it becomes a W. Okay, so this is the wisdom, because we are asked to seek wisdom. If it weren't in this witty way, there wouldn't be so much emphasis in the scriptures to say, seek wisdom, seek wisdom. Oh God, this really rings in my head, Okay, so there's and it, Proverbs really tells us a lot about you will find wisdom. She's in the marketplaces, she's shouting, she's doing this, she's like a wild woman, she's just everything. And what I notice as well, so we have a link with all these other, we could say, with from 5 here, we have this link, but here is like absence. This is why perhaps we say lucky free, because there is no visible link as the red into the blue here. This blue has decided to, I'm not fighting, or I'm just having fun. Basically, I'm having fun until the fun has run out or something terrible happens. you know, like you had an accident, or you know, you lost your job, or something tragic happens, and then you break away, because this is W. To find who you truly are, you need to be like facing your W. But the three is like it's facing it's facing this way, but it's not like to you, like if I'm saying something to you, I'm addressing you, and you know, we're reflecting each other right now. So there's a you going this way and a you going the other way, and that becomes whole. And this is what three needs to break away. This is why if you have three people, you are more likely to find that you know each other better when you're on one. But if you have three, for instance, which is very wise too, but you will find at some stage that three may actually there'll be one thinking, oh, I'm not quite sure, someone's coming to give the little gossip. There's one in between saying, I'm not sure, I don't think I really should say this, but I'll tell you, I'm not sure I really like her too much, or what she said about you. Just something to really start something going, and then that breaks the relationship, and then it gives you a reason how to now be introspective, or reflective. Okay, so it's just an example. So basically, we see this in the story of Christ, for instance. This is the classic, that when Christ was on the cross, of for instance, and we always hear about Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, the Trinity. But in the dying stage, this is why he said to have said that, oh, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? That means he was now just him, Son, and Holy Spirit, if you like. So, Son and Spirit. And that means he had to, um, through that process, then he masters the art of fatherhood, if you like. So then it becomes one. That's it. Okay, so we get this now. I'm just really going through this to highlight the essence of this. So we see that the two, but here in creation, which is what we're talking about, the two sets of creation is saying that's the God's hair. They are saying whatever you want me to do, I will do right here. Now this really gives me a lot of comfort as well in that video that I have posted, but it's really reflecting about black white, the polarities, and seeing how Sophia has been mimicked by the white, in the sense of her numerical values are going all this way here, because we have WH T. T is the only letter that comes here, and we can see why it comes here again, because it's tapping into the two sets of gods as well, the two sets of creation, the two of anything, the polarities. Basically, you can't come in here if you don't have a fork to to dig in. You can't partake of at the table if you are not ready or have your credentials for this area. So two is very solid in this sense. So going to black and white, this is going to also show me how to have a fair argument in how the stories are being played out. But it's just that because two has a humble disposition, because it's in unity. When two people are looking at each other and they're in communion and so on, it's very difficult for them to see elsewhere or what is really happening. It can happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but there's unity. They are concentrating on one another. It's like two lovers, for instance, or two people in love. You could tell them the sky is blue or whatever it is, or you could tell them the world is going to fall apart. And the moment they, oh, it can fall apart. You know, I've got everything I need right now. I've got love. I'm in love. You can't tell me anything else. Or you could tell them this guy isn't really good, or this girl, she's not really good for you. Oh no, I'm in love is the best thing. So that's what two is about right here. And that's the process of discovering, of course, after the love has faded or whatever happened, because the seed had been sown as well to tell you this person isn't good. So at the moment of you finding that they've done something that really doesn't please you, that other seed gets sown together, and then it evolves into something else. So I'm trying to get my trail of thoughts here as well. Yeah. So basically, I had these the gods. So we have the gods and they show up. So the next stage I want to cover here is I have covered all these gods that I mentioned, but the ended God, the formed God, the caused God, the breathed God, and the planted God are the gods in Genesis of chapter 2. So this is why I'm talking about the number 2 is very robust in this sense. Okay, let's just find, okay, very robust in this sense. Now, when we add these gods together, because I feel that I'm gonna have to do a series of videos on this, which I already have, but I feel that I'm going to break them down in smaller bite sizes. And so we have these gods here, the ended God, the formed God, the caused God, and the breathed God. These were these gods we could see when we add their numerical values here, which also is reflecting Mother Eve ended here, it comes to 38. 3 plus 8 is 11. So we can see that this also here is a depiction of another creation. So it's the depiction of the creation. Let's see in here. When we add number 5, okay, let's have some contrast. There's a time to put your fork down. When we add 5 plus 6, that gives us 11. This is saying that there was a new creation here. So there are two creations in Genesis of chapter 1 and 2. This is what people have not mentioned. There are two creations here. One, the gods have like help each other, if you like. So, for instance, this is exactly what is happening in our world today, that hand robotics, for instance, have I using their human attributes to creating Sophia or Han. So that means they are just like the moved God. We have the moved God here, and we have the made God. So these are two gods here, which we would say the made God and the moved God. I would say depict Adam, because Adam is 1414 in numerical value, and so 14 is 5 and 14 is 5. So I'm feeling that they are instrumental in that creation. But we can see already the word created. In the beginning God created. There is 11, as we have just seen. So the two creations are have already been preordained, if you like. It's been preordained because we have that seed that has been sown, as I've given in the example of being in love, and someone else comes and tell you something else, and then that seed has been planted in your brain, and then you develop a different perspective of that person that you were so in love with. He becomes the devil that someone else told you that he was, and whereas you've forgotten the loving angel that he was in the first place. So that is two aspects, two creation, two polarities, and so on. So we have in this other creation, we have ended, the ending itself, you has in it beginning. So something begins, it's got to end. So there's beginning and end. And so these attributes or characteristics have followed into ending, which is also 24. We could see 24 hours of the day, or 24, 2 plus 4, and it goes on. And also the formation, we have 7 here, which is where the sawing, when you saw something or cut it into, you saw it, that means there is more than one of it. That in itself tells us that there are 2 sets of creation right here. Of course, with number 4 is like 2 sets of foundation. Okay, then we have 8. We have covered this. This is the causation. Because we of something, we want to cause an effect. We want to cause an impact. We set something. You set an idea in your head because you want to execute something. You set an image, you set your board, you set the stage, whatever it is that you set, that corresponds with the causation, the reason. So intention is really important here. So intention is here, and it corresponds with the set, which is causation. Now, what we didn't have here in this first set of 9 gods, for instance, is the breathed God. The breathed, which is where now this is like the complete things have happened here, and everything's birthed out. Everything, so the set has been birthed out now. This becomes 9. So we have the 2 eighths, of course, which Adam and Eve ate. Eve ate, the word ate equals 8. And the word it also equals 8, which sounds like IT. IT, information technology. Okay. All right. So, yes, and that's another thing that birthed, image and likeness. So we can see that the 2 sets of God, when added together, 8 plus 8 is 16, 1 plus 6 is 7. And when we do the numerical value for the word 7 or 1, we have done 7. We know 7 is 20. But if we did the numerical value for the word 1, because we are one, to show that we are one, this is one pair, one creation, one world, one earth, and so on. So this is 6, 5, 5. Adding this together gives us 16. 1 plus 6 is like saying 1, 6. 6 is a human being, so it's 1, 6. Oh, it'd be interesting to do the numerical value for 16 while I'm here. This is how I get carried away. 1, 9, 6, 2, 5, 5, 5. Wherever I see 3 5s, I think of Mother Eve. So this is 15 plus 15, 30, and this is 33. Wow. So this goes back to us being Genesis. So we are 16. 16 is our number, like 16. So 16, when it's written, it becomes 33. Person becomes 33. People is 33. Believe. And I feel that that's what Christ, the story of Jesus, was really preaching. Believe, believe, believe. There was a believe so much. If you believe, that means if you are recognizing yourself as 33, which 3 plus 3 is 6, then, of course, and then Christ died at the age of 33, meaning when you recognize you're 33, for instance, or you realize that you're more than 33 in the sense that you can replicate, because 33 needs to be whole. 33 needs to come like this, and it needs to see the set as well, and then it needs to have this cutoff point, because it's an eye, 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 or it's the eyes, if you like. And so it needs to recognize itself birthed out, and this is what we are doing. This can be metaphorically through what an idea you have, you birth it out. Let's just see the time, 19 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up, and to before I wrap this up, let's just see. I think I need to try and start timing my videos more. So basically, we see this is what I meant to just wrap on, showing that the two sets of sevens. So we have the only number missing here is 4, but when we add the 9 gods together, they form 4, which I'm going to go over. But because we have 2 5s here, we could say that this, and 2 3s, 2 3s as well. So this would be 1 2 3 4, 4 5 6 7. So we could see how 7 plays out. This is 7 gods here, or 7 creation, or so the god, this god and this one was working together. This one and the divided god and the blessed god, we could say, was working together. They have a close relationship, just as the ended god. So basically, the moved god here and the made god and the ended god, we can see that's how we have 15. Do join me again, because this is so delicious, because 15 comes here. Basically, the made God, this is where people are making, this is where Mother Eve says, come, let's make man in our image and likeness. So making, you have to have movement. So the moved God comes here as well. And of course, we have E for ending. And of course, we need the W here. We see W also is representing the two sets of 7 gods, as we say. Was that delicious? Let's dig in deeper on my next video, continuing deeper level, deeper meat deliciousness. I'm vegetarian, even if I said meat. Yeah. And so on. So this is really delicious. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this and that it was delicious. Let's dig in. Let's stay ignited.